So I'm headed up to my buddy Darren's house. It's almost 6:30 now, Sunday morning. We're gonna go head out for some bear. We're gonna bring the hounds along with us. If we're not able to find a bear, hopefully they are. After being made fun of repeatedly online from Darren, if we go out and see nothing, he's definitely gonna blame me for our lack of success. So I'm excited to see how the day goes. Yeah, hopefully we can at least see a couple. If we're lucky, maybe I'll get the opportunity to shoot one. And if you're ever in need of any gun work, Darren and his wife and her family, they own Guardian Gunsmoke up in Campbell River. And they do a lot of different custom gun builds, also any sort of gunsmithing stuff as well. And Darren was kind enough to help me with my hand load that I've been working on. So the shots are grouping really well, and he was able to help me do all that, which I was really stoked about. So yeah, if you have anything custom gun build related, he's definitely one of the guys to see on the island. If you guys are anything like me, you'll also have some questions about bear hunting with dogs, just because I've never done it before. Maybe I will ask Darren some questions today, see if he can give us some answers about what it's like hunting with them.
You guys better not be chasing elk. They're not opening up, so.
Open it up meaning barking? Yeah, okay.
That's Darla, she doesn't count. If Junior opens up, I'll get excited.
So if they're on a scent, they bark some, and then if they've treed something, they just kind of go nuts?
I don't know what to tell you about that. My dogs have been acting weird lately.
About 10 o'clock now. We've let the dogs out once or twice. They've been on a bit of a run, chased after something, and then we lost the GPS communication with them for 20 minutes or so, and we were able to loop back around, drive within 100 meters of them, and perfectly pick them up again pretty quickly, which is nice. It's cool. So it's been pretty exciting to kind of see them in action and how they're ripping around and everything. We're headed to a new area just now, and we will probably let the dogs out again. Did a little bit of glassing, thought we saw a bear, but must have just been a really nice bear stump. Put it on the spotting scope and it didn't move, so. Alright Darren, so how long have you been hound hunting for?
I think probably the first time I went out was probably in my early 20s, so I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. I wasn't allowed to get my own dogs until I quit working in camp. I think we started buying dogs almost 2 years ago now. This last winter was our second winter, so. Well, let's go.
What would you say the best part about it has been so far?
Training the puppies. You don't have to kill anything to feel like you accomplished something. Like, you get an animal up in a tree and you get that sense of accomplishment, like you won, you beat it, right? And that's what you're training these dogs for. I'm just as happy to call the dogs off and tell them that they did a good job and go look for something else. It gives you a different perspective. It allows you to really look at the animal and judge them and give them a good once over before you decide whether or not you're going to pull the trigger. We definitely have a pack of young dogs. Our one male is going on 7 this year, or maybe he's already 7, going on 8.
Junior?
That's junior, yeah. And then the other 3 are all under 2.5, so.
And what's the hardest thing or the toughest thing about it?
Raising puppies.
Raising puppies. The best part is raising puppies, and the hardest part is raising puppies.
Hardest part is keeping them in a kennel. They're born to be problem solvers. You build a great big kennel to make sure they're comfortable and safe, and the next thing you know, they're getting posted all over Facebook because they figured out how to climb an 8-foot chain link fence. Spend all night putting a roof on your dog run, and then they realize, well, if I can't go over, I'll go under. And then you see more pictures of your dogs posted on Facebook because they're out chasing whatever they do. Luckily, we live outside of town and we haven't had any issues with neighbors or dogs getting ran over or anything like that. Our dogs are very much our pets as much as they're working dogs, so they go in their dog run during the day when we're not home, and then they get to come in the house and they get to sleep in the house at night.
Is there anything that's surprised you since you've been running hounds?
The dogs surprise me every day. It just depends on if it's a good surprise or a bad surprise. You know what? The hardest part is our country that we hunt. That's the hardest part, where we have a lot of rivers and cliffs and bluffs and mountains, and so the hardest thing is knowing the country that you're hunting.
I thought hunting with hounds is going to be easier. This is steep.
Good dog! decent sized bear. Good boy!
Alright, we are heading home after success. Unfortunately, as I was cutting the bear up, the GoPro decided to die, and I didn't bring an extra battery with me. So, not that you missed much after all that, but yeah, cut it all up, got it in the game bags, went home, well, back to Darren's house, threw it in the cooler, and I am now driving back home. Takeaways from the trip. It was very different than what I normally do for a bear hunt. You know, typically I drive, glass some cuts, walk some deactivated roads, you know, look for great vegetation and food and all that sort of stuff. But when it comes to something like this, it's just very different. You have the dogs out on the road in front of you. You're kind of letting them, you know, run around, smell, see what they're coming up with, and then, you know, after a few kilometers and they've gone and tired themselves out some, okay, you throw them back in the truck, maybe take the other 2 dogs out, so you always have 2 dogs that are fresh. And then, well, we actually, on this particular one, what had happened was, we were driving along and we saw one fresh pile of bear scat on the side of the road on the right side, and then we kept driving, we saw another pile of scat on the left side, and the one dog as they're driving by starts, you know, he's smelling it, and obviously if it's an older pile you're not going to be that interested in it, so he was quite interested in it. And so we let him out, and immediately, second he got out of the truck, straight into the forest, and just starts straight away. So quickly open up the other side of the box, let the other 2 dogs out, and all of them running off into the bush. And I don't know, it probably was only 2 minutes. It felt very, very quick. You get the signal that they have treed, which essentially you got a GPS collar on them. Once they've been stationary in one position for, let's say, 15 seconds, what ends up happening is it gives the signal back to the GPS device saying that they have treed. And that just means that they just haven't moved. And so, you know, most of the day it's sitting around, it's hanging out in the truck, it's nothing too crazy, except when you have to try and get the dogs back. And in this particular instance, you know, it's all out. You're running and going as quickly as you can straight to where you're hearing the dogs barking from. And so for us, I don't know, it was probably only 500 meters or so, uphill the whole way, and then through some thick, nasty stuff. And it sucked. I was so out of breath and gassed. And we got there, and sure enough, bear up in the tree. It was a male, probably about an average sized bear, nothing huge, but it was awesome. Super, super cool experience. And I'm really grateful that Darren was willing to take me out. And now he can stop harassing me on Facebook saying that I don't get a bear, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, it was a really, really cool experience to be able to go and watch the dogs work. At the end of the day, you know, this hunt is less about shooting the animal and more about the dogs and their abilities and what they're able to do. So fascinating to watch them go and do that. Really, really cool. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed it.